So when we think of hackers, the image that often comes to mind is a long figure in a dark room, breaking into systems for personal gain. But what happens when hacking is done on a massive scale by governments with the power and resources of an entire nation behind them? This isn't just an hypothetical, it's the reality of today's world. Imagine entire cities suddenly losing power, banks unable to process transactions, and critical infrastructure collapsing, all orchestrated by state-sponsored hackers. This is cyber warfare, where the battles are fought with code rather than bullets. And today we are pulling back the curtain on the secretive and dangerous world of nation-state hacking groups, uncovering who they are, how they operate, and the real-world impact of their actions. But before we dive into the current landscape, it's worth taking a moment to reflect on how cyber warfare began. The origins of state-sponsored hacking can be tracked back to the early 1980s, when nation-states first started exploring the potential of the digital realm as a battlefield. And back then, the internet was still in the infancy, and the idea of using computers to conduct espionage or sabotage was a novel concept. One of the earliest known instances of cyber warfare occurred during the Cold War, when the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a technological arms race. So in 1982, the CIA reportedly used a logic bomb to sabotage a Soviet gas pipeline, causing a massive explosion. This operation, known as the Siberian Pipeline Incident, is often cited as one of the first examples of cyber sabotage, a precursor to the more sophisticated attacks we see today. As the internet evolved, so too did the tactics of state-sponsored hackers. By the late 1990s, cyber espionage had become a key tool for intelligence agencies worldwide. Nations began developing dedicated cyber units, laying the groundwork for the sophisticated cyber armies we see today. The early days of cyber warfare were marked by the experimentation and discovery, but they set the stage for the digital arms race that now dominates international relations. One of the pivotal moments in this transition was the deployment of Stuxnet in 2010, a joint US-Israeli operation that targeted Iran's nuclear facilities. Stuxnet wasn't just another virus. It was a weaponized cause that physically damaged infrastructure, signaling the beginning of a new era in cyber conflict. If you didn't see my video on Stuxnet or my interview with the man that identified it, I will leave the links in the description or here on the screen as well. Please watch it, it's insightful. So going back, the foundation laid during these early years has enabled various nations to build formidable cyber capabilities. While the superpowers dominate the headlines, other countries are rapidly emerging as significant players in the cyber domain. And let's take India and the Netherlands as an example. So India has significantly ramped up its cyber capabilities in recent years. The country's cyber units have focused on both defensive and offensive operations, particularly in the context of its geopolitical rivalries. Indian APT groups such as APT-36, also known as Mythic Leopard or Transparent Tribe, have been active in cyber espionage, primarily targeting Pakistani military and diplomatic entities, as well as other regional adversaries. These groups often focus on gathering intelligence that could be used to bolster India's national security and inform its strategic decisions. And India's cyber strategy is increasingly becoming a cornerstone of its national defense policy, reflecting the growing importance of cybersecurity in maintaining national security and projecting power in the region. The Netherlands is another strong contender in the cyber domain. Despite its relatively small size, the Netherlands has developed advanced cyber capabilities, particularly through organizations like the General Intelligence and Security Service, the AIVD, and the Defense Cyber Command, the DCC. So Dutch cyber operations have included both defensive and offensive measures, contributing to NATO's collective cyber defense. In 2019, Yahoo News published that an AIVD agent was reportedly involved in the Stuxnet operation, highlighting the Netherlands' significant role in global cyber warfare. The Dutch approach to cyber warfare is characterized by a blend of defensive readiness and offensive capabilities, ensuring that the Netherlands remains a key player in the global cybersecurity landscape. But beyond these emerging contenders, several nations have developed advanced cyber capabilities that rival those of the biggest players. And let's explore how countries like the UK, Israel, and others are shaping the digital battlefield. So the rise of second-tier cyber powers, at least in my view. So while the world's attention often focuses on the cyber superpowers, there is a group of nations that have developed formidable cyber capabilities, making them influential players in the digital arena. And these second-tier cyber powers include countries like the United Kingdom, Israel, Iran, France, Germany, and North Korea, each with its own unique approach to cyber warfare. The United Kingdom has long been a leader in signals intelligence, with its cyber operation often coordinated by the GCHQ, the Government Communication Headquarters. One of the UK's most notable cyber initiatives is Operation Socialist, which targeted Belgium's largest telecommunication provider, Belgacom. The operation involved implementing malware to gain access to the company infrastructure, allegedly to spy on European Union institutions. Now, the UK's cyber strategy emphasizes both defense and offense, with a focus on protecting national interests and supporting global security initiatives. The UK's ability to combine intelligence gathering with cyber capabilities has made it a formidable force, particularly in Europe, where its operation often serves broader geopolitical goals. Israel is another powerhouse known for its high-skilled cyber units, particularly Unit 8200. This unit, often described as the equivalent of the NSA, has been involved in numerous cyber operations across the Middle East and beyond. One of the most famous operations attributed to Israel is Stuxnet, a joint effort with the United States that targeted Iran's nuclear facilities. The malware was designed to sabotage the centrifuges, setting back Iran's nuclear program significantly. Now, Israel's cyber capabilities are deeply integrated with its national defense strategy, and its cyber units are considered some of the most advanced in the world. What sets Israel apart is its emphasis on innovation and rapid development, often turning new cyber threats into opportunities for counteraction and preemption. Another player is Iran, and Iran has developed a robust cyber force focused on asymmetric warfare to exert influence and destabilize regional rivals. Two key groups are APT-33 and APT-42, plays crucial roles in Iran's cyber strategy. APT-33, linked to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, has been involved in high-profile attacks on critical infrastructures such as oil refinements and transportation networks in Saudi Arabia, using cyber operations as a tool of geopolitical leverage. More recently, APT-32 has gained prominence with its targeted espionage activities, including attempts to infiltrate political campaigns like that of US Vice President Kamala Harris. These groups' focus on phishing and intelligence gathering underscores Iran's strategic shift toward more politically motivated cyber operations. Together, these groups illustrate Iran's bold and aggressive cyber tactics, which aim to create uncertainty and fear, enhancing its influence without direct military confrontation. France and Germany have also made significant strides in developing their cyber capabilities. France, ANSSI, or National Cybersecurity Agency of France, and Germany's BND, the Federal Intelligence Service, have been involved in various cyber operations, including espionage and counter-espionage activities. France, for instance, has focused on protecting its industrial sector from foreign espionage, particularly in critical areas like the aerospace and defense. Germany, meanwhile, has been more defensive in its approach, focusing on protecting its infrastructure from cyber threats. though it has also been involved in covert cyber operations against foreign adversaries. So both nations have been increasing their focus on cybersecurity as part of a broader national security strategies, recognizing the importance of protecting not just state secrets, but also the economic engines of their societies. Last but not least in this list is North Korea, has emerged as a formidable cyber power despite its relatively small and isolated economy. The Lazarus Group, maybe the most famous group related to North Korea, has become a big name around it, including attacks in 2014, Sony Pictures hack and the WannaCry ransomware attack that crippled system worldwide. What sets North Korea apart is its resilience on cybercrime as a means and circumventing international sanctions. And the Lazarus Group's focus on stealing cryptocurrency has reportedly funneled millions, if not billions, into the North Korea regime, funding its nuclear and missile program. North Korea approach is unique in that it blends cybercrime with statecraft, using illegal means to support its national objectives, making it one of the most unpredictable players in the cyber domain. Now, while these second-tier powers are highly influential, the global stage is truly dominated by three superpowers. And these nations have invested heavily in their cyber capabilities, turning the digital domain into a key theater of their geopolitical strategies. So let's now turn our attention to Russia, China, and of course the United States, the undisputed leaders in the world of cyber warfare. So Russia is often seen as the most aggressive player in the cyber domain. Its cybersecurity operations are deeply intertwined with its broader strategic goals, often blended cyber warfare with traditional military tactics and disinformation campaigns. Defensiber APT-28 group, linked to Russia military intelligence agency, the GRU, is infamous for its role in the hacking of the Democratic National Committee in 2016, which aimed to influence the US presidential election, allegedly. And Russia's cyber operation have also targeted Ukraine using malware like NotPetya to disrupt critical infrastructure, causing billions in damages and highlighting the devastating potential of state-sponsored cyber attacks. Now, Russia's strategy often involves using cyber capabilities to create confusion and chaos, exploiting the openness of democratic societies to advance its geopolitical interests. China, on the other hand, with its rapidly expanding cyber capabilities, has focused on both industrial espionage and military operations. Groups like APT-10, Stone Panda, have been involved in massive data breaches targeting industries ranging from healthcare to aerospace. And China's cyber strategy is deeply integrated with its national goals, using cyber espionage to accelerate technological advancement and strengthen its military capabilities. One of the most notable operations attributed to China is the theft of data from the US defense contractors, which has been used to develop advanced military technologies, including aircraft and missiles systems. Now, China's approach to cyber warfare is systematic and long-term, often focusing on gathering vast amounts of data that can be used to gain competitive edge in both the military and economic spheres. With all of that said, the United States remains the most powerful cyber force in the world, thanks to its vast resources and advanced technology. The US Cyber Command, established to coordinate the cyber capabilities of the US military, has been involved in some of the most sophisticated cyber operations ever conducted. Stuxnet, which targeted Iran's nuclear facilities, is just one example of the US ability to carry out precision cyber attacks with global implication. But the US doesn't just play offensive, its defense is equally formidable. The integration of NSA capabilities into cybersecurity operation has given the US a significant advantage in both detecting and countering cyber threats. Operations like Operation Glowing Symphony, which targeted ISIS online infrastructure, showcased the US ability to disrupt terrorist networks through cyber means. What sets US apart is not just the scale of its operation, but the ethical and legal frameworks within which it operates. The US has also been at the forefront of establishing international norms for cyber warfare, advocating for rules that would govern state behavior in cyberspace. Despite its strength, the US faces constant challenges, particularly from the other cyber superpowers, Russia and China. These nations often engage in what is sometimes called gray zone warfare, where cyber operations are used to achieve strategic objectives without crossing the threshold of conventional warfare. The US is constantly adapting to these challenges, investing in cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence and quantum computing to maintain its edge in the cyber domain. However, this technological race also highlights the risks of an ever-escalating cyber arms race where the stakes continue to rise. So the rise of nation-state hacking groups represent a new kind of arms race, one where the weapons are not missiles or tanks, but lines of code. As these cyber armies continue to grow in size and sophistication, the potential for conflict increases, with the digital battlefield becoming as crucial as any physical one. So the challenge for nations now is not just in developing their own cyber capabilities, but in defending against the increasingly sophisticated attacks from other states. The interconnected nature of today's world means that a cyber attack on one nation can have far-reaching consequences, potentially triggering a chain reaction that could escalate into a full-blown conflict. The US, Russia, and China are all investing heavily in cyber defense and offense. But so are the second-tier powers and even smaller nations, making the cyber domain more crowded and volatile than ever. State-sponsored hacking is not just a threat to individual nations, it's a global issue that affects everyone. These cyber armies have the potential to reshape the geopolitical landscape in ways we are only beginning to understand. The digital battlefield is already here, and it's changing the rules of engagement in international relations. So what do you think about this new form of warfare? Which nation's cyber operations do you find most intriguing or concerning? Let's discuss it in the comments. And if you find this video insightful, make sure to check out our other explainaries on cybersecurity and share the video with anyone interested in the future of warfare. See you in the next video.